Hello, my name is Ken Webb, and I want to introduce you to a topic that's I think is extremely important for today's world. My background is in medicine, and also I am retired, therefore, as both medic, but also I had a degree in theology and a great interest in spirituality and the relationship between spirituality and physical healing, relationship between spirituality and science. But for many years ago, I was introduced to something called the Enneagram, and at that stage, it was presented to me as a personality typing tool. And much more recently, well, back in 2015, I did some more study on it and understood it as not trying to put people into boxes of personality types, which a lot of the personality typing tools do, but rather to help people to get out of the boxes in which they put themselves. Mostly because we are completely unaware that we are driven by passions and ways of thinking, mentalities, views of the world, of which we're unconscious. And so it's trying to help us to become much more fully conscious human beings. But actually the Enneagram was never originally meant as a personality typing tool. It was a very ancient symbol that goes back to, Pythagoras at least. So it's 400-500 years before Christ. And in fact, the wisdom that it symbolizes, which are 3 cosmic laws, was known even before that, many millennia before that, and it's part of what I'd call perennial wisdom, that is the root behind a lot of the wisdom traditions that became religions in their time. Unfortunately, religion has often misunderstood the original teachings as well, but that's another story. Anyway, the Enneagram, as it originally was presented to the West by George Ivanovich Gurdjieff, was actually a symbol of 3 fundamental cosmic laws. So it's the law of one, which is about the interrelatedness, interconnectedness, and basic unity of all that exists. In other words, although we are separated in space-time universe, there is a sense in which there is another dimension of reality in which we are all related at one. And in fact, modern cosmology is concluding that this is in fact the truth. Everything is arising out of what you might call the quantum field, or and it's emerging into 3-dimensional reality and in space-time, and then it dissolves back again. But that's the law of one. I won't go into details because that would take too long. But the law of 3 is the law that governs how anything new comes into being, for which you need 3 independent forces: a positive force, a negative force, or resisting force, and also a reconciling or neutralizing force. Now, again, this has enormous implications and practical applications for personal relationships, personal growth, but also especially, for example, in politics. If you want a real change in the way the things are in the world, we're going to have to work with this one. And then the final one, which is represented in the Enneagram symbol by the hexad of crisscross lines. And the Enneagram symbol is a circle with 9 points around it. Points 3, 6, and 9 are being connected by an equilateral triangle, and then the other points being connected by these lines that go in a particular order from 1, 4, 2, 5, 1, 4, 2, 8, 5, 7. But that is all, it's a law that really governs how anything evolves. And that can be true of us as individuals. It can be true of the humanity as a race as a whole. It can be true of organizations and events and all sorts of things. It can be applied in many ways. But unless we understand this law, we will get stuck at certain points. And the universe is set up as a hazardous universe. It's deliberately like that, because without the hazards, without uncertainty, if you like, there's no drama to life, and it's what makes the universe interesting. So that's the law of 7 in a very brief nutshell. Now, I explain all of this in great detail in a new course that I've developed called the Enneagram of Cosmic Laws, which currently is being hosted by the Edinburgh International Centre for Spirituality and Peace. And I've done, for several years, I did live teaching courses on this. It's now available as an online course that you can work through in your own time. It's got 7 modules, and each module has 2 or 3 teaching videos, but it's also aimed at enabling people to experience what we're talking about in ways. So there's ways in which we will do practices that will get you engaged with the topic. Now, if you want to access this, go to the Edinburgh International Centre of Spirituality and Peace. Now it's eicsp.org/events, where you will see a link to my course on there. But actually, if you want to find out more before you engage in this, then go to my YouTube channel, Ken Webb, at YouTube, at a YouTube channel. And if you look for the Ken Webb that's interested in spirituality and spiritual growth, you'll find me. And if you search for Enneagram or Enneagram of Cosmic Laws, there are videos there about the history and origin of the Enneagram and how it developed and evolved over the centuries, as well as basic information about what the course is all about. But if you want the details, I'm afraid it's only accessible at the moment through the eicsp.org website, and it requires registration. It's not that expensive compared to a lot of the courses that you will see online these days. So I hope this has piqued your interest and you will follow this up. Blessings. Bye.